The Wigan Warriors will line up like this. Radlinski at fullback. Dallas, Brown, Wild and Aspinwall. Brian Carney has a hamstring pull. He's not risked. Orr and Lamb at halfback. The forwards, Farrell, who's the skipper, Newton and Craig Smith, Tickle, Hock and O'Loughlin. And the bench is occupied by O'Connor, Robinson, Sculthorpe and Gary Connolly. The coach is Dennis Betts. Now the Saints, Wellens at fullback. Hardman comes into the side late in the day. Adi Gardner drops to the bench. Hooper, Tallow in the centres, Darren Albert on the other wing. Young James Roby gets the nod alongside Sean Long at halfback. The forwards, Fozzard, Hyam, Cunningham at prop, Joint, Gilmore, Sculthorpe, the skipper and loose forward. And the bench occupied by Mason, Edmondson, Wilkin and Adi Gardner. The coach is Ian Millwood. The Saints have won 3 of the previous 5 playoff meetings with Wigan. They finished 5th this year, their lowest ever place. Comforted, no doubt, that 4th for Wigan is their worst finish to a Super League season. But their last win here at the JJB Stadium was in the playoffs of 2000, an astonishing 54-16 victory, and Sean Long scored 26 points. Wigan meeting the Saints, though, for a 5th consecutive year in the playoffs, and it's remarkable to think that all 6 previous grand finals have featured either Wigan or St Helens, and in 2000 they contested the Old Trafford showpiece. The Wigan fans know that they reached the grand final from 3rd last year, the first team to make it from outside the top 2. The Bulls, who were first of course, went on to win on the big night. Great crowd, JJB Stadium looking absolutely the perfect picture on a night like this. And the Saints have left the dressing room and Paul Sculthorpe leads them out. The only side entering the playoffs on the back of a defeat, 64-24 at Odsal. It was their 8th defeat away from home this year. But the Saints have won 2 cup semi-finals here against Leeds in 2002 and 2001, but they've not beaten Wigan on this ground for 4 years. And it has all the atmosphere of a semi-final, this, because of course it is sudden death. Whoever loses tonight will bow out. But critically, the X-factor, Sean Long, is back. He proved his fitness and in many ways proved his worth to St Helens and Bradford last week. And the fact that Long has returned in time for the playoffs, having served his ban, is such a huge boost for them. But Wigan, undefeated here since July last year, winners 22-18. They've not been beaten here by St Helens in their last 9 visits. Now in Australia, only 6 instances where a team finishing as low as 4th, 5th or 6th have gone on to take the title have been known. But tonight, these two might just take a significant step on the road to Old Trafford. Firecrackers above, a slate grey sky to start the match. Steve-O, the atmosphere is wonderful.
It certainly is, Eddie. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure that the fans here, they've come out in force, and why not? One of the biggest games in all the season, and thankfully we have one of the more experienced referees in Russell Smith. Wonderful lineup on either side, so many internationals, so much speed, but in games like this, it's down to the big fellas. It's the forwards. Whoever gets on top in that department in the opening quarter of this game, I think will go on to victory.
It's St Helens then who are going to get this match in progress. They are attacking as we watch here from left to right in their change strip. Paul Sculthorpe gets us underway. A low shooter. And off the chest and stomach of Adrian Lamb. And here's the first drive from Gareth Hock. And it's Long, and it's Tallow, and it's Joint who are leading the charge. Brett Dallas from dummy half. Long again. Tallow and Sculthorpe in with the tackle.
Not surprisingly, Eddie, the defence is pretty solid. They're getting out of the blocks. Sometimes it's a great advantage, you know, to kick off. That means you can get your defensive qualities going. Terry Newton run from dummy half.
Well, is that a huge gamble, because he was in plaster at the start of the week. And Adrian Lamb was clattered a little late by Jason Hooper. Has a word, here is Ian Hardman. And it's a penalty here to St Helens, because Wigan had strayed inside the 10 metres. And Andy Farrell's asking the question of Russell Smith about this.
Well, it looked to me as though Hooper had committed himself. Not much in it. Either way, and as you say, the Wigan skipper very, very keen to bring to the attention of the official Russell Smith. It's getting tasty already.
Fozzard with the drive in, Mickey Hine the dummy half. Cunningham playing in the unaccustomed role of prop forward tonight. The first time ever for St Helens when he's not played in the when he's played in the first team, he hasn't played hooker.
Well, I've been calling for him to switch to that position for many, many months now, Eddie. He can handle it, don't worry.
Long gets it wide to Hooper. And St Helens trying to attack this Wigan line in their first use of the ball. And Terry Newton goes down, clutching his face. A dab to the in-goal area, bounces off the post. And Radlinsky is grounded in goal by his opposite number, Paul Wellens.
Wonderful pressure kick as well. Knew exactly what he wanted to do, get it in. Don't normally see the kick from Gilmore. Obviously they've been working on that department. What a great effort there. Good job that he got back in time. New hairstyle for Radlinsky.
Wellens holding it down. He's appeared in all but one match this year, and Terry Newton got a nasty bang by the looks of things, full in the face.
Well, he went in very awkward into the tackle. And I think by the looks of that, you can see it's misshaped his nose. He could have broken that.
Well, a dislocated thumb, or the remnants of, and now perhaps a broken nose very early in the piece.
This is it, yeah. Collided with his own man, Craig Smith.
This is Nick Fozzard, tackled by Andrew Farrell. They're 30 metres away from the line, Saint Sculpthorpe attacking them, trying to run over the top of Farrell, which he does, and Craig Smith getting in with the tackle. Mickey Hine, who his coach Ian Millwood says, if St Helens prevail in this playoff series, will be the Great Britain hooker in the Tri-Nations. We have Brian Noble with us tonight. He's the Bradford Bulls coach, of course. He is the Great Britain coach. I won't be asking him that question, but we'll be asking him plenty of others before the night's over. Cunningham for Saints, looking for support, and it is dropped on the deck, and he's gobbled up. And it was gobbled up by Danny Orr.
He should have had it. There should have been someone skirting back on the inside. He will be furious, will Kieran Cunningham, about that. Wigan very, very, very fortunate not to have conceded a try, because the build-up to this from St Helens, their first and second markers extremely slow. They can't afford to do that with Mickey Hine out there.
Here is Andrew Farrell, and it's Hine and it's Sculthorpe who bring the Wigan captain down. That's the last tackle. Expect the kick here from Sean O'Loughlin. He was inside the 40-metre zone, but it was not the best kick, and it lands on the bounce to Paul Wellens.
Going to be an important facet throughout this game, of course, the short and the long kicks. As Eddie has mentioned, that wasn't the best. Looks a problem for another Wigan player. Looks like Danny Orr has picked up a knock as well. They're going through the wars at Wigan.
This is James Roby, a huge vote of confidence from Ian Millwood in young Roby, and it's joint now at the other end of the age scale. There's Mickey Hine, and it's Sean Long attacking the line. Oh, and that's knocked forward. It's back to 0 in the tackle count.
Should be,
the hand
and it is.
Shot out, and it was Wild who got the hand to it. Here is Darren Albert.
Pretty fortunate there. Sean Long was trying to use the dummy runner. Didn't work out, but it did in the end. Oh, he's given himself up. As soon as he stopped, Cunningham knew that the referee would pull him up. It's an amazing thing. If it had carried on running, sometimes the officials completely ignore him, but as soon as he stopped, bang.
Note in the book for Ian Millwood, watching on high here at the JJB Stadium. Perfect night for rugby league. It's pretty dry at the moment. It's been a little bit wet in this part of the world throughout the day, but nice and dry right now, and great conditions for a man of the match performance. I wonder who it's going to come from tonight. Dave Hatfield.
We saw some risks taken with players and their fitness last night, some successful, some not so. Perhaps the biggest gamble of the weekend, though, is Terry Newton. We're going to need to get a good hour out of him tonight. And also St Helens, they've concentrated on that position with two hookers in the front row, Kieran Cunningham up prop. We have a feeling it's going to be in that area of the field that things are going to be decided. But then there's half-back, Sean Long's second game back, and Adrian Lamb's last game if we're going to lose tonight.
Thanks, Dave. Here is Craig Smith. Another man who will retire at the end of the season. Will the season end this evening?
Stupid pass there, but as St Helens come up with a knock on. Well, Craig Smith in heavy traffic. Well, it's deemed that Smith's
Darren Albert
offload went backwards, and it did. The opportunity.
Just a little fumble then from Darren Albert. So Wigan have the possession just over the halfway line. This is Sean O'Loughlin, Craig Smith, Willie Tallow met him. Wellens is there as well.
Oh, he's done it again.
Long the poacher.
Well, he wasn't so much poaching as wrapped up in a box with a big bone. That was a gift.
Here is Cunningham now, and he gets away from O'Loughlin and he finds Chris Joint.
Ooh,
This
that looked
is
forward.
Hazard.
Good work from the touch judge on this near side. Just a lack of concentration. Even though there's so much experience out there, certainly went forward. No doubt in my mind, Fozzard would have think, what on earth has he given me that for? Another note goes down. So much experience, Eddie, but in this sort of atmosphere, they know so much at stake. Sudden death.
Well, just 2 wins for St Helens from their last 7 matches in the regular season, 5th in the table. Yet such an aura surrounding the Saints that many are tipping them to go all the way. O'Loughlin, a lovely dummy, and a very good job that Gilmore wasn't fooled by that. Radlinski.
Not only that, that was great work by Darren Albert. He came in and made sure that there was no chance of the offload.
And that's Adrian Lamb, and the pass was behind Martin Aspinwall.
Well, I've said it for many years now, why the wingers want to be flat instead of just hanging back slightly.
Adrian Lamb, could it be the last game of his career? His 10th playoff appearance for Wigan. Dennis Betts looking just a little bit anxious because Wigan haven't made the start that St Helens have they, Phil?
No, they haven't, Eddie. You know, we very often think of rugby league as a team game, but by the time you get to the playoffs, it's very much about individuals. This time of the season, everyone knows exactly what their role is in the side and has to focus and concentrate on doing the things that they need to do well to help the guys playing around them. At the moment, we've seen a pretty good start from both sides. Look at the speed of the game. We thought it would up when we got to the playoffs. It certainly hasn't in the first 10 minutes.
It's Fozzard for St Helens up the middle, met by Danny Tickle and Sean O'Loughlin. It's Hyam who's the dummy half. Here is Long, getting booed every time he touches the ball, and that's not the best kick. Straight into the arms of Martin Aspinwall, but Long following his kick up and getting to Aspinwall after he slipped. It is a little greasy underfoot, but as I say, above ground it is dry, which is good news for the players, good news for the spectators here, great news for you viewers watching at home.
Should have been a penalty and he's got it. Willie Tallow's just losing his control. Kevin Brown didn't like it.
And Russell Smith didn't like what Willie Tallow did then.
Well, it was silly, wasn't it? Swinging arm underneath, tackle being completed. One thing I've noticed, Eddie, about the St Helens forwards, normally they run in a straight line, try to take on the defence, but on nearly every occasion they've been going crabwise. They've got to run forward rather than sideways.
Good run here from Craig Smith. They're just inside the St Helens half of the field. That's the 40-metre line. Here is Farrell, who crosses that mark now.
Great tackle from Mickey Hyam.
Good quick play the ball, though. Newton finds Lamb, who finds O'Loughlin, and it goes wide to Aspinwall, who was waiting for that pass this time. Stephen Wilde, the dummy half. Looping pass to Adrian Lamb. Looks for Andrew Farrell on the diagonal run, and Farrell is wrestled to the ground by 2. 4 tackles gone. They're about 18 metres away from the line, and Lamb with nowhere to go, Hooper hunting him down. Last tackle here for Wigan, and it's with Danny Orr, the little dab, and it's picked up by Mickey Hyam. And Mickey Hyam has got Hooper one way and Long the other. And he's taking it on and he's given it to Hooper. And Hartman is there as well. And Hartman will go over under the sticks for Saints. First try for St Helens. Ian Hartman given the nod at the very last minute by Ian Millwood has surely put St Helens ahead here. But the referee wants to see how the ball came in to the St Helens possession near their own line. But Hartman believes he scored.
Well, it certainly ricochets off Mickey Hyam's foot. And they're just trying to see whether perhaps Talau's in front. No, I think that's going to be okay. I think they're happy with this. Willie Talau just in front. Now then, does it hit him? No, it doesn't. I don't think he touches it.
They're just checking apparently whether it is accidental offside.
I don't think that it touched Willie Talau there.
But it was a wonderful, wonderful try if it's given.
No, I don't think he touches it. That's what they're trying to look for. Hits the knee, that goes backwards, that's okay. Don't worry about that. It's whether it's gone right through his legs. Hyam says thank you very much indeed. I think this will be given. He's not convinced though, is he, the video referee?
Well, it's Steve Cross tonight, who is the man with the buttons. Maybe this will be a little clearer.
I think he goes through his legs, Eddie. Well, it fully deserved a try. I must say, though, Danny Orr took an enormous long time to get this ball away.
Well, let me tell you, if this try is not given, I hope the bar in front of Ian Millwood is metal and not wooden.
I think it went through his legs. There doesn't appear to be any deviation on it.
Depends what it gives, but...
Well, he's not convinced, is he? Well, you keep saying it, Eddie. It hit his knee and went backwards, and I don't think that it touches it. I think the right foot goes over the ball. Or does it?
That came off his heel, I think.
Well, if it does bobble on that, accidental offside.
And I think this could be denied, having seen that last one. And there will be pandemonium at one end. Here is Steve Cross's decision. It is denied. Scrum attack, which is Wigan. And Ian Millwood just looks on, slightly bemused. Wigan escape.
They certainly do.
It
fully
deserved the try.
It certainly did, mainly by the support from that man, Hardman.
Accidental offside, scrum attack.
That's what it was. And fair credit to the video referee.
Well, listen,
he wanted to make sure.
We have got a man alongside us tonight who has suffered in grand finals for video referee decisions. Brian Noble, how do you read that one, Brian?
Really tough call for the video referee. The ball stopped somehow. Saints will feel desperately unhappy about the fact that he wasn't given a try.
They won't be now.
Wigan will be very, very relieved. And this is a problem for Wigan. The only times they've been in Saints' half, they've dropped the ball, they've come up with a couple of errors. They've given Saints every time. They've dominated field position. Now this could take its toll at the back end of the game. So Saints and Wigan especially need to start controlling the ball. It's a bit frantic, Eddie. The game seems a bit frantic. A few errors, people anxiety, but that's semi-finals football. The team that settles down and starts kicking well and creating pressure will win.
If it's frantic tonight, what will it be like next week at Headingley when the Bulls and the Leeds Rhinos lock horns?
Good play yet again from Kieran Cunningham. Been around long enough to realise that Wigan were not standing square, so he ran right into the man. There's the culprit.
12 minutes gone then. Saints with a try disallowed by the video referee for accidental offside 90 metres away. This is Fozzard. That's a strong run from the prop forward, and that's a penalty because he wanted to get on with it and he was held down, and this could be the first opportunity for Sean Long to slot over 2 points. And Paul Sculthorpe has indicated there's the reason why the penalty has been given. That's fine. And then Craig Smith and Danny Tickle have another go at him. Nick Fozzard appeals. and the penalty is given, and Paul Scothorpe points to the sticks and tells Sean Long to have a go for 2 points.
Well, he's trying to get the official to explain to him what on earth that try was disallowed for, and it was the accidental offside. It's a rule that baffles quite a lot of fans and a lot of players, never mind the coaches.
Well, on the last look at that with the angle behind the play, it definitely came off Willie Talau's heel. Anyway, can Long kick St Helens into a 2-point lead? Yes, he can. First points of the night for the Saints, courtesy of the ponytailed Sean Long.
Well, it should have been 6 as far as they were concerned, but you're right, Eddie. And it's nice to see that the video referee did not panic, took his time.
But on a night like this, he don't. So Wigan restart, deep kick-off. Nicky Himes underneath it. Nick Fossard will drive it home again.
What a hit. Boy, Terry Newton, dislocated thumb and all, just went straight into him. He's getting to a heap of work. It's got to be a penalty. And once again, they pick Newton out.
Yeah, the referee said, Terry, don't get involved, and he just turned his back and stuck his leg out.
Silly play, just lack of concentration. And not surprisingly, the official says, come here. Any more of that, and it could be in the sin bin.
Tackle before, Terry, we've lifted a man and he's gone over. Okay. No, they benefited out with that. Then he stood there and stuck a leg out. Don't be a nuisance, come on, let's play positive.
Don't be a nuisance.
It's pretty hard to convince a hooker, I can assure you of that, not to be a nuisance.
Here to that. It's Scothorpe with the kick to the sideline.
You know, Eddie, who would have thought at this part of the season that you would have said that St Helens would have selected Cunningham at prop and Wigan would have selected Andy Farrell at prop?
Yes, it's turned around a bit for those two, hasn't it? This is Cunningham now, who's on the ball, and he's tackled by Andy Farrell with a little bit of help from Terry Newton. Here is Paul Scothorpe. Got the ball away brilliantly to Paul Wellens. Wellens tackled by Adrian Lamb. Quick play the ball by Saints. They're trying to inject pace St Helens at every opportunity.
Great run from Mickey Higham. He's causing them all sorts of trouble. Joint goes close.
Gets it away to Higham. He gives it width to Sean Long. The boos won't worry him. It goes wide to Darren Albert. And Albert is brought to ground by Stephen Wild. There is Roby. Here is Long. A dab through, and it bounced very kindly for Gareth Hock, and he took it well. It's a great run, and he offloads to Lamb, who in turn finds Kevin Brown, and Talau brings him down.
Well, both sides eager to keep this ball alive. The opening 16 minutes, they've just really battered each other. Problem for Talau, he's down. He went in awkward into that tackle.
There's a big hit on Brett Dallas. This is Kevin Brown again, he plays the ball to Newton. Here is Craig Smith.
He's amazing, you know, this Wigan prop forward, Craig Smith. I don't know how he's walking, never mind playing a game of rugby league.
O'Loughlin, little dummy, and he gets away from Albert, does he? Well, he gets the ball away to Stephen Wild, and Scothorpe completes the tackle. Farrell on the last tackle with the kick downfield. That's a great kick because Wellens has got to run this ball back, and the Wigan wall arrives.
Great kick and chase. You can see there 5 Wigan players. They went in on the arc, an umbrella defence, forced him into the corner. There was nowhere for him to go.
2 points in it, 17 minutes gone. St Helens ahead, in possession here with Lee Gilmore.
It's important now that Wigan do not give away a silly penalty. They've done that on 3 occasions already and allowed Saints to get out of their own quarter.
Sean Long. Oh, great hit by O'Loughlin. Wigan have got the ball back with Craig Smith.
Saints a little bit slow there. It was a good hit. Jolted the ball free from Cunningham, but no one was in support to get to it.
Martin Aspinwall disappears under 3 tacklers. This is Newton. Here is Orr. Hock on the run. And Hock couldn't get the ball away again. 3 men in the tackle for the Saints. Wigan are 20 metres away. Farrell just dropped the shoulder, took the tackle though from Kieran Cunningham. Quick play the ball from Farrell. Here is Newton, wide to Adrian Lamb. Great ball, great tackle from Darren Albert, and Tickle thought he had scored.
Oh, he's lost it. And if we play on, sheer confusion going on out there. The defence is so solid, very rarely going to make the break, but you can see there, Newton was complaining that a St Helens player was on the ground. He should have taken advantage for it. Darren Albert had just got in the way.
Phil Clark, this match is living up to all
Oh,
the previous
Smith has gone in with the elbow at the forearm. Touch judge has seen it. Sorry, Phil, we'll get to you later. But that was a silly penalty to give away. I'd already made the point. Wigan had to be careful not to give away a penalty, and they do it. Why on earth did you have to give him a facial like this?
St Helens player.
Stupid.
Number 10 just come straight in, forehand straight.
It's a very costly penalty, isn't it there, Steve? Now it gets St Helens out of their own half, into their opposition half. I just think you've got to appreciate, Steve, being down here on the sideline, the atmosphere and intensity of the players. He's come in there, he's just put a bit too much into it. He's swung to try and close up the ball, I'm sure, on Sean Long. Makes him too good a player to want to give away a cheap penalty there in their opponent's half. Late in the tackle count as well. Really is going to kill his side. But just going back to this game, back in April of this season, St Helens were unbeatable, and at the time they were able to play the game of rugby league faster than any of their opposition. Quite worryingly for Wigan and the other teams left in the playoffs, they're starting to show signs that they are playing the game quicker than their opponents again. But Wigan again, if you want to make it through to the playoffs and get to grand final, you have to be able to handle times in the game when your opponents are on top of you, they're dominating, you're on the back foot, they've got the majority of possession, and Wigan have shown in this opening 20 minutes or so that they're capable of doing that and coming back with a bit themselves.
Yes, they're hanging on in there, Wigan. And here is Wellens, that little dummy run there from the acting halfback Nicky Hyam.
Well,
he goes right, and Wellens goes left. Here is Wellens now. Oh, he's lost it.
Oh, he's got it back. That's good refereeing. Wigan fans don't like it, but it's spot on. Wellens did ever so well then.
Long to Hooper. Here is Joint wide. Comes back this way. And Joint looking to offload and does so to Tallow. And they're offside, Wigan again.
Brought about by the quick play of the ball as well. They are on the rack of the Warriors at the moment.
Under 10 minutes, that's where we go, Andy. We have been all season. Just come back, please. Have a look at the video.
Oh, yes. They got out of the blocks very, very quickly indeed. Kevin Brown was the culprit. The referee allowing the advantage, and when it was non-forthcoming, he had no option but to give the penalty, and not surprisingly, didn't he do well here? Absolutely superb. See there that Danny Tickle looking at the official.
Well, he diffused the knock-on by keeping hold of the ball, Paul Wellens, and here is Sean Long again with the opportunity to add 2 more points. Dennis Betts, I think he realises that if things don't go according to plan tonight, it will be seen in some quarters, unfairly I think, as not being the greatest Wigan season. Because there's nothing like beating your local rivals, and as far as Wigan fans are concerned, you have to beat St Helens every time you come up against them. That's a bit unfair. Long then with this opportunity, he turned 28 years of age yesterday, Sean Long. And St Helens have a 4-point lead in this elimination playoff. Remember, loser tonight bows out. Winner goes on to next weekend to face a home match against the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. And at the moment, Ian Millwood's men are on course.
And he should feel pretty confident as well, not just by the fact that they've got 4 points on the board, but Millwood has been around long enough to realise that Wigan are having a lot of trouble getting their defensive line sorted out. Oh, I love it!
Fossard driving it in, and Terry Newton standing his ground. Here is Ian Hardman. Let's have a word from Brian Noble. Not heard from him for about 10 or 12 minutes.
Play it properly.
It's a huge game, isn't it? It's some great impact. Saints are in the ascendancy. They'll be real pleased with the way they're going. And Wigan just aren't helping themselves with some silly penalties in St Helens half. It's really important that Wigan get a grip to the game with the composure, but hey, there's a full house, there's noise. Phil's talked about the noise down there. Who's going to have composure in these games? It's about anxiety, nerves, excitement. Great passes like that from Chris Radlinsky and a great kick chase from St Helens. They really are up for this.
He's dropped it, Radlinsky. Saints have it back.
Quick play the ball. Radlinsky's down injured. They're all at sea. There's 3 Wigan players that haven't even attempted to get past the ball.
And they've now been penalised for offside, Wigan again. But Radlinsky taking a bang on the head as Terry O'Connor, that was his first involvement in the match since he came on.
It's all about pressure, and if you can apply it, sometimes it comes up with a mistake, and they did on that occasion. That was one big hit from Mickey Hyam.
Wigan fans saying it was a bit high from Hyam, but it wasn't.
No, it was on the shoulder. Dislodged it just with the impact. And soon as Sculthorpe plays the ball, Joint took it forward. They were all over the joint. There's Radlinsky down, injured in the back play. And he'd no option. The official, Russell Smith, he's having a blind at this fella, Mickey Hyam. What a talent he is.
Well, we've got Brian Noble with us. I'm not going to ask him if he's going to make Mickey Hyam his hookup for the Test series. But he is, Brian, he is a talent, Mickey Hyam, isn't he? No question.
Absolutely. He's a great talent. He's been a talent for around for a while, for 18 months, 2 years now. He can speed the game up, he jumps hard on the half, and he can play. He's got great skills. And we've shown there that he can bend his back and jam his shoulder into people and force errors. And that's what Saints are doing. The start of the year, they were on a cup campaign and blew everybody away by kicking the ball down the field, chasing their lives out of it, and then banging people around at the right end of the field.
Did it surprise you, Brian, like it did me, the way that the Saints forwards were crabbing rather than going on? They've changed it over the last 10 minutes. We've already seen big runs from Fozzard, and that's where they were successful early in the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think Wigan need to get to grips with Fozzard. Somebody's going to have to bend their shoulder, put their shoulder into his midriff, because they're just winning the ground, is what we call it. Saints are just playing that little bit too quick for Wigan, and that's why the penalties are resulting. They just can't get back. Wigan just need to have the element of composure.
Swinging arm from Andrew Farrell on Ian Hardman. The referee said it was on the shoulder. Here is Sculthorpe, who really looks up for the playoffs. It's 6-0 to the Saints. We haven't had a try yet. We've had 3 penalties from Sean Long, and here is Kieran Cunningham taking on the smallest man on the Wigan side, Luke Robinson, but Hock is there and Terry O'Connor is there. Witness-bound Terry O'Connor in 2005. Long with the kick downfield, in between Aspinwall and Radlinsky. Here's the chase from St Helens again. Look at it. Terrific stuff.
Intelligent kick as well, dissected the fullback and the winger.
And how long have St Helens been in the opposition half? 13 minutes, as our graphics just told you. They're dominating the match.
This defence is cruel. It's the only word I can come up with. They are battering Wigan.
Farrell makes the half break. Joint held on to his shirt tails. Here is Terry O'Connor driving it in again at Edmondson and Sculthorpe. Last tackle for Wigan. Luke Robinson. Lamb will hoist the kick. Here is a tester for Roby. He's lost it.
Pressure has got to him. He's allowed the advantage. Good play from Russell Smith. That's the reason why Roby's pushed out onto the wing when he's on defence.
Farrell for Wigan. Great defence from St Helens. Roby could hear the thundering hooves of 4 Wiganers trying to close him down. This now is O'Connor. Oh, he's lost it. And Cunningham gives it to Long, who gives it to Tallow, who flicks it back to Hardman.
What confidence was being shown by Saints there. But again, squeezing the tackle, Sculthorpe was spinning the big fella around. And that's the reason why Dennis Betts has thrown out Terry O'Connor, as Brian Noble made the point that Wigan have to get back to just real hard work in the forwards.
This is Long, and it comes wide to Darren Albert. And Darren Albert, the quickest man in the game, and he's got Lee Gilmore in support. He has support either side. Mickey Hyam, Radlinsky's after him. Wonderful tackle from Radlinsky. Wonderful tackle to save a certain try.
Well, he went for glory, did Mickey Hyam. He's got plenty of quality as this guy. opportunity. He had Sculthorpe back on the inside. He pinned the ears back and said, I'm going, but what a tackle. Absolutely brilliant. It's a knock-on, it'll be head and feed to the Wigan camp. But look at the amount of St Helens players in support. He wouldn't have anything to do with it, he went for it. This is sheer magic from one Radlinski. It's a knock-on, all right, from Mickey Hyam.
Unbelievable from Radlinski. Remember 2 years ago at Murrayfield in the Challenge Cup final, Chris Radlinski walked away with the Man of the Match award for his defensive qualities. This will be no try, it'll be a scrum to Wigan. Well, there is no Lance Todd trophy available here tonight, but that tackle from Radlinski at the end of the day just could see Wigan home. Fantastic defensive effort. And if I remember rightly, Radlinski had a poisoned foot the week of the final, and he came out and he played the game of his life. That was a fabulous tackle, and all that Russell Smith wanted to check then was how the game should restart, and that's why Wigan are in possession.
Rugby league at its best, but two golden opportunities. Video referee turned down Hardman's try, correctly of course, but the gaps are appearing in this Wigan defence, and it'll be very, very happy for the Cherry and Whites. Dennis Betts knows they've got to slowly but surely claw their way back into it. They're only 6 points adrift. It could have been 18.
Farrell, he's got Sculthorpe pounding in. It's the last tackle. Wigan are only on the halfway line. Robinson, Adrian Lamb puts the kick up. Clattered by Gilmore. The ball pouched by Wellens. He gives it to Hardman. Well, it's compulsive stuff, this. The playoffs of the Super League. It rises every single year. It's good enough for 28 weeks. But when we get to this stage, fantastic.
I just don't know how they put their bodies on the line week in, week out.
Of course, there's a little side issue tonight. When will Leeds and Bradford play their qualifying semi-final? If Wigan win tonight, I can tell you that the Leeds-Bradford game will be played on Saturday. Wigan will entertain Wakefield here on Friday if they win. If Saints win, Saints-Wakefield is Saturday, Leeds-Bradford is Friday. Sculthorpe with a drop goal attempt. He's missed it. That decision, by the way, about the kick-off and the venues has come to us from the Rugby Football League only today.
Not a bad option, though. Sculthorpe realising that extra point. Make sure that Wigan had to score on 2 occasions to get back into this game.
In case people are wondering why there is the confusion about the matches next week, there is a problem about this field being available on the Saturday.
Oh, it took a huge gamble there. Sculthorpe, it has not come off.
And it's Paul and Danny Sculthorpe who are tangling there, the brothers. I was going to say the brothers Grimm, that would be a bit unfair.
Well, it nearly turned out grim, didn't it?
I think Paul looked over his shoulder to see who it was, but he went for the intercept, didn't he?
Yep. For one moment there, you could see that his brothers put the knee right into his ribs.
Danny Orr.
Thanks, kid.
Down to the sideline, Phil, 30 minutes, it's flashed by.
It is, you know, I never used to know whether playing at home or away really made much of a difference to a side, but it does seem to do to Wigan. The fans, whenever the line seems to be broken, they lift, and the players lift also with them, and they've hung in there through a pretty tough opening half an hour. And just, you know, when you see games like this, and St Helens, although they're dominating their opposition, they haven't scored and put them away. A penalty that I suspect now will go in Wigan's favour. We'll get to see whether Andy Farrell and his troops can get over the Saints line.
Well, it's been all St Helens for 31 minutes. And Brown was trying to get to his feet.
It was silly play again. We've already seen one from Craig Smith.
Jason Hooper penalised. That's why Dallas has the ball here, and they're now inside the 20-metre zone. Gareth Hock is the dummy half. And Edmondson got to him, but he still managed to get the ball away to O'Connor. They're 10 metres away. 2 tackles gone. Robinson, who will be plying his trade at Salford next year. Trundling the ball forward here is Danny Sculthorpe. And they're offside again, St Helens.
They'll go for the tap. I don't think they'll go for the 2. They've had very little possession, and yes, they have gone for it.
And Robinson has
near Millward, he'll be happy, Dennis Betts. But this fella used the referee so well. This is where the offside came. Sean Long came out of the blocks very early, and watch how Robinson shields the referee and then goes for him. Chris Joynt looks daggers at the official, and he said, hang on, I didn't know he was coming that way.
And he blew the whistle. Jason Hooper asked the question, and Russell Smith had blown the whistle and made the mark. Luke Robinson.
Well, they do it all the time, don't they, all the teams, especially from the scrum base. Quite often, sometimes the loose forward runs out, brings the ball back in when he runs at the official, and that's what Robinson did.
And St Helens paying the price for a penalty by Jason Hooper. And here's Andrew Farrell, 4 short of the 100 goals for the year, and the scores are level. 6-all at the JJB Stadium, Wigan and St Helens. He'll be a little happier now, Dennis Betts.
Especially with the fact that they've had no ball at all of Wigan. And when you know you can get yourself in a position like that, Eddie, when you've had little of the football. Oh,
well, let's get down to Bill. I understand he's got some news on Terry Newton.
That's right, Eddie. The Wigan hooker sitting on the sidelines at the moment. He's collecting breaks. He, as Dr. Stevenson, MD, correctly diagnosed, he has got a small break in his nose, which they've straightened out. So he's now got a break in his thumb and a break in his nose.
It's a tough old game, isn't it? Dallas. And there is Terry Newton on the sideline.
Well, to be fair, if you've got a number 9 on your back, you're not the prettiest person in the world, I can assure you.
Great ball there from Luke Robinson to Andrew Farrell. It's set fair, isn't it, for Robinson to have one of his great games tonight.
Should have been a flop.
Last tackle.
Gilmore, to me, had finished that tackle off.
Oh, that's a good kick. And it's a test for Roby again. Oh, he took it well this time.
Imagine what was going through the brains of that youngster there, James Roby. Dennis Betts, the Wigan coach, obviously pinpointing the youngster. It's not the first time that we've seen Ian Millward do that with a half-back. He often did that with Sean Long a couple of seasons ago, keep him out of the fray.
Steve-O, a little disparaging about the hookers in this game. We have one of the great hookers alongside us. You'll be upset about that, Mr. Noble.
I think my mum will. That is, Mum. The hookers union will be sending him a letter. I go all right, Steve-O, you might have a problem.
But not a bad match, is it, this?
It's a great game, and I tell you what, Wigan have stepped up to the plate in these last 10 minutes. They've started doing the things that they wanted to do from the start. That was Saints' worst, in terms of meterage, effort getting out of yardage. They really muscled up, they stopped their dummy half runners, and they look like they've got the bit between the teeth now. It's going to and fro. Saints have dominated for 30 minutes, and now Wigan are back in there.
It's amazing, you know, one thing we saw last night, a run from Korkidas that really lifted Wakefield. The tackle from Radlinski that tries to save her, that certainly has got through mentally into the players now.
Do you know what? It's not the fast plays, it's not the moving hands, it's moments of inspiration that win games. It's either a big hit that rattles everybody's bones, or it's an amazing cover tackle like Chris Radlinski made there to save a certain 6 points. Those are the special efforts that win games like this.
I don't know whether you caught our Australian match this morning, but this is a mirror of that game. The Canterbury Bulldogs were battered for half an hour, and then they came strongly and won their way through to the grand final. Well, neither of these two sides tonight will win a place in the grand final, but they want a place next weekend as the quest for Old Trafford continues. Here is Robinson again. Robinson to Adrian Lamb, they're lined up alongside him. Hop and Brown will score for Wigan. Kevin Brown for Wigan. What a try from the Warriors. They have been on the canvas, and Wigan have snapped back. St Helens, 2 tries, blown, one by the video referee, one by a wonderful cover tackle from Radlinski, and now the second Wigan try of the night.
And it's no coincidence that since Robinson has come onto the field and play, beautiful run from the dummy half, look at that. They hesitated, they thought that Robinson was going on his own, but the pass from Lamb Oh, superb stuff. Gareth Hoff sends in the youngster. Kevin Brown has set this ground alight. I can remember watching this young kid have his debut. He put his body on the line that day, but he's all skill tonight. What a try!
The Wigan youngsters are standing up and being counted again. Kevin Brown with the second try, and Luke Robinson with the first. Ian Millwood's on his way downstairs as Andrew Farrell lines this conversion attempt up. Well, this would be the great escape for Wigan. If Farrell kicks this for a 12-6 lead at half-time, Wigan must begin to feel that this is going to be their day. It's on its way! They lead 12-6!
Listen to the noise here in the JJB. They had little to cheer about in the opening 20 minutes. It was all Saints. As Eddie has mentioned, Saints could have 18 points on the board. They don't. Thanks to the video referee, turned down Hartman try. But as I mentioned to Brian Noble, Eddie, the tackle from Radlinski has just lifted the cherry and whites out of the doldrums.
Here comes O'Connor for Wigan, and it's a minute and a half to the break. Lamb. Aspinwall. Clobbered by Mickey Hyan. Luke Robinson. Andrew Farrell. In the dream team again, Andrew Farrell. Wigan's only member and a prop forward where he's playing tonight. And Ian Millwood now at pitch side, watching anxiously as Sculthorpe gets the ball away. And Robinson, what a will-o'-the-wisp. Lamb. Will Saints get another set of 6? Farrell with the kick over the top. Yes, they will. Provided Aidy Gardner gets hold of it, which he does.
Terry O'Connor just flattened someone in back play there. Here the St. Helens crowd just cry out to the official.
Here is Wellens. Last 30 seconds of the first half. Can St. Helens strike from deep and level matters by the half-time siren? They've got 20 seconds remaining. Dennis Betts on his way downstairs. Aidy Gardner. Probably time for maybe 2 more tackles. Edmondson.
Got to test their arm now. They're going to get it high.
And this is the last one. And long. And it comes wide to Hooper. And he'll hoik it forward, but it's straight down the throat of Radlinski. That will do. What a first half. For so long it was in St. Helens' pockets. Then up stepped Kevin Brown. Up stepped Luke Robinson. And Wigan lead at the break. Thanks to that wonder tackle from Chris Radlinski. It was a try all the way. Mickey Hyan was almost up at half-time. Long with 3 goals, 3 penalty goals in the first half. Robinson and Brown with the tries. And Andrew Farrell kicking magnificently as well. 12-6 it is. This crowd holding its breath, waiting, wondering what the second half has in store for us. And the Saints are still inside the dressing room, as is Ian Millwood. It has been a huge half-time for both coaches and both sets of players. Remember, St. Helens won the Challenge Cup 32-16 at Cardiff against Wigan in May. Wigan, the players and most certainly their supporters, have got revenge on their minds. If they could knock St. Helens out of the race for Old Trafford in the grand final, it would be a feather in their cap. The sun is setting. I wonder on whom the sun is setting as far as this year's season is concerned. It's not over yet, Steve-O.
No, you're spot on there, Eddie. Wigan will be buoyed by the fact they went into the dressing sheds with that lead. And I'm sure that Ian Millwood would have said a repeat of the first 25 minutes that we had in the first half. Responsibility on this man's shoulders, Paul Sculthorpe. And I think that the coach would have said, we have to start asking a few more questions. We haven't seen much running from Sean Long. And I think this has to be the 40 minutes where this guy who, to be fair, will be a little bit rusty. He had 70 minutes against Bradford last week, of course.
And from a Great Britain point of view, Steve-O, as Wigan emerge, from a Great Britain point of view, it's vital that Sean Long really continues on in these playoffs.
Well, I don't think the Wigan fans or the Wigan players will be subscribing to that.
I noticed that 33, Gary Connolly, at 33 years of age, is on. He played in the 1998 Grand Final for Wigan against the Leeds Rhinos. There he is. He's out for the start of this second half. And in 1993, he went to within 80 minutes of a Grand Final in Australia with the Bulldogs. This is the 530th game of his career. He made 133 of them with the Saints. Connolly, by the looks of things, goes to full back.
Interesting to see how...
No Radlinski then.
Interesting to see how Wigan handled the opening 10-15 minutes. Oh, he's taking the ball. Oh, I thought he'd taken the ball off him there. Craig Smith.
That's two.
Will Wigan still try to farm the ball around in the last quarter of an hour in that first half? They were pretty impressive.
Here is Wellens. This is Albert. Two faced him. Lamb was there, and so too Stephen Wild. Wellens again. Almost up to halfway after 4 tackles. Hyam, here's Long. And there's a little dab over the top from Long. He was impeded slightly by Andrew Farrell.
Great sweeping there, though, by the standoff Danny Orr. That's the type of tactic that we would expect in the second half, asking the questions. Sean Long, trademark little chip over the top. Maybe just a little bit too much height, which allowed Danny Orr the time to get under it.
That's Gareth Hock. He's 10 metres inside his own half. The tackle from Edmondson and Joint. Here is O'Connor. He gets Wigan to the halfway line. Newton finds Farrell. Wide to O'Loughlin. The gap has opened for O'Loughlin, and O'Loughlin's got a ton of support. Farrell! Wigan cross! Just what Wigan needed start of this second half, and the captain provides it. Is that the killer blow for St Helens season?
It's going to be very difficult now for the Saints to raise their game. Great support play by the prop forward Andy Farrell, but wonderful individual stuff from the loose forward Sean O'Loughlin. Fended away the attempted tackle. Sculthorpe really should have had him. Farrell knew that he was always going to be on the way. Gilmore tried in vain, but look how he went on the arc. Neat little handoff with the left, back on the inside. Farrell made sure that he kept running away from the advancing Gilmore, and the joy on his face says it all. Just what Wigan needed. They extend their half-time lead with a sensational try.
Right at the best moment, Wigan strike for their third try of the match. 4 minutes before half-time, Kevin Brown. 2 minutes after half-time, Andy Farrell, who has this kick to establish a 12-point advantage that could be so important in the context not only of this match, but of the Wigan season. Farrell, he began the night on 96 goals, captain of 4 Grand Finals for Wigan, just the 1 win, and he has drilled it over the top of the crossbar, and Wigan have that 12-point lead starting this second half.
And fully deserved. It was well worked. He didn't run straight, he ran with a little bit of an arc, and then made sure that he just fended at the right moment. Bad mistake from Paul Sculthorpe, but the support, not only Farrell was there was about another half a dozen. Newton, even Craig Smith was piling down in support. Excellent stuff.
Well, he was Phil Clark's player of the first half, and he has got the second half off to a flyer for Wigan. There is no Irish flyer on the wing, Brian Carney. He is out of this match tonight with a hamstring problem. He's alongside Bill on the sideline.
Eddie, there's no Chris Radlinski out there either for Wigan at the moment. He came off at half-time feeling the after effects of that knock we saw him take earlier on. He's not recovered from that, and so Gary Connolly, as ever, a very reliable standby, is out there. Brian Carney watching this, and that is a fantastic start for the Warriors.
Absolutely, it's been the best end to a half you could have when you score, and to start the second half with a try again and convert it, it's awesome. To go 18-6 up when Saints have had the majority of the possession is it's a good sign for us.
And in fact, you'd have thought it would have been that scoreline in favour of Saints at one stage, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, they've had a couple of decisions go against them, but that's a sign when your luck's in, and it looks like our luck's in tonight.
Well, you look at that Saints side, Long, Skelthorpe, Cunningham out there, you would not discount them even when you're this far ahead.
Oh, you shouldn't really speak too soon, but you know, I think that's a great start for us, and it might be a little bit difficult for them to come back, but then, as you say, they've got the players that can pull them back into a game all right.
Thanks, Brian.
Pleasure.
Brian Carney hoping that he might be still involved in the playoffs next week. Roby with a deep kick downfield, and Connolly will have to run this ball back. Wellens leading the charge, and Wellens cuts Connolly down. Danny Orr, Brett Dallas.
Oh, that was a slash there from Sean Long. Just pulled away at the last moment, but still couldn't do it quick enough. Just got him underneath the chin. That's not what the doctor ordered. Frustrating time for Sean Long.
Well, he's got the points and goals record for a playoff match. 26 points, 2 tries and 9 goals against Wigan here in 2000 in that 54-16 victory, which coincidentally is St Helens' last win against Wigan on this ground 4 years ago. And at the moment, history repeating itself again.
Biggest problem for St Helens is that Wigan will be just playing very solid, basic football. Beautiful play.
Dallas has got a supporter inside. Oh, and he's blown it today. Newton. Why didn't Newton go on his own? That was the match.
Well, I think Newton probably thought that he didn't have the legs. We saw it was higher, but what a superb offload from Kevin Brown. They did everything right. Newton was being tracked down. I think he did it right.
That was the match, though, Steve-O.
Yeah, it was gone.
Scored, the game was over.
End of story. That'll certainly lift the spirits of the St Helens players.
Here's Darren Albert with space. Ball on the inside to Roby. Great tackle from O'Loughlin. And a penalty because he was all over the top of James Roby.
Yeah, it's supposed to roll away and he went right over it, as you said, Eddie. Good impact.
Just held him down on the shoulder. Phil Clark, what a start for Wigan second half.
That's a great start for both sides. I'm just going to make a point there about St Helens. You know, every coach probably fancies one of his own players to win the Man of Steel award, and Ian Millward has mentioned Jason Hooper this season. You know, his effort there to get back and deny a Wigan try, which probably would have sent them through to the next round of the playoffs, has kept his side alive. Very often try scorers are what catch the eye in rugby league, but those who save them, they deserve just as much credit too.
Here is Long. Oh! Gardner was just cleaned out by Newton, and Gardner is still down and he's in Disneyland, and Ian Millward shakes his head. He believes that should have been a penalty.
Well, it looked high. It certainly looked high. He's still down. Wigan are forcing the pass, and that's forward.
It is from Brown.
At a moment where Saints were down to 12.
And the signals come out from the physio. Gardner has to leave the field.
Oh, golden opportunity thrown away yet again. Just a little bit too ambitious. He's got plenty of quality as this youngster, and there's Eddie Gardner being assisted from the field of play, but I'd like to see that again. It looked pretty high. Let's have a look. Oh, yes. Certainly high, right over the top.
No penalty.
Well, he's a ferocious tackler. We all know that is the hooker, Terry Newton. But that looked pretty high for mine, Eddie. Not surprisingly, Ian Millwood is furious.
Gilmore with a little half break. Support arrives from Hooper. What a tackle from Adrian Lamb.
And what a
play the ball.
Fantastic stuff. Oh! Dallas has gone back.
And Wilkin felt that.
That was fair as well.
Here's Cunningham. This is Willie Talau. It's starting to boil. Saints fans furious with the referee. Here is Long. And Long fires the pass wide on the bounce to Darren Albert. No way through. Good covering defence from Stephen Wild. And Roby. Sculthorpe. There's the kick to the in-goal area.
It's a try!
Has come free and Long might have nicked it.
He's pinched it as the halfback. It looked to me as though it was Brown that went for it.
Long might have nicked the try here.
I think he has.
There's a number of things to watch. Was the Wigan man tackled in the air?
No. It's bobbing about all over the place. Long says thank you very much indeed, and that is TRY time.
Brown, the try scorer in the first half.
Just couldn't handle it. He was not taken out, and that is a try, Eddie, for mine. They're back in it, are the Saints. Did Long knock on? No, I think he's got the forearm on it. Another big decision for the video referee. You can see the look on Brown's face. He thinks he's conceded. We will have to wait and see. It looked as though the forearm from Long has got control of his ball. Well, he has dropped it, Eddie, but he's got the forearm to it before it hits the ground or simultaneously.
It's not our call. It's Steve Cross again.
I think he's given it.
I think that won't be given.
Well, I think he will. We'll have to wait and see. It's a dodgy decision either way.
Brian Noble's watching this as well. Brian?
I think he drops the ball. Now, will the video referees make the decision? Did he head down with pressure and caught ball control over it? And I think you see there that he clearly drops the ball.
So it would be no try for you.
He's certainly got the forearm on it, though.
I think the expression is for mine, isn't it? No try for mine. Hey, but listen, they need an element of luck here, Saints. They might just get the call.
Well,
it looks as though he's dropped it there, yes, but on the other angle, it looks as though his forearm is over it. Watch the forearm. Now then, does he drop it or is it knocked down? Oof. Looks to me as though it's a try. I've seen them given.
Well, Steve Cross knows just how big a call this is in the context of this match and of this playoff series.
Right at the same time. Oh,
Wigan fans are cheering. St Helens fans biting their nails. The try is denied. And that could be one of the biggest decisions of the year.
Well, Brian Carney said to Bill Arthur, maybe the luck is with us on this one. There is one youngster out there that is the most relieved person in Britain, and his name is Kevin Brown.
Well, Brian Noble got it absolutely right. No try, he said. No try it was. Big call, Brian.
That just serves as a warning for Wigan that all the things they've been doing to get themselves back into the game they need to reinvest in. Let's go forward first with this ball. O'Connor's done a great job from there. Establish some field position and kick. They just overplayed on the last 3 times they got the ball because of excitement on breaks, and their execution just to me is that little bit more clinical. You let Saints have a sniff and you're in trouble, watch out.
Half an hour remaining here at the JJB Stadium. And Adrian Lamb. Long is all over the back of Danny Orr with Hooper. Gareth Hock, it's the last tackle, and Farrell with a drop goal attempt. Farrell for a one-pointer.
Nowhere near.
It's drifted wide. Wellens has it for Saints. Look at the chase, though, now from Wigan.
Not a bad option, though, Eddie. Quick thinking there by the Wigan skipper. Didn't come off, but he knows that 1 point late in the game. And that just gives some indication to me that when they're going early for the 1 point, Eddie, that Wigan may feel as though they're still tired. They could tire. But it's been so hectic, hasn't it?
Oh,
both sides must be struggling.
Frantic match. Edmondson. He gets the ball away to Gilmour. Now then, Gilmour attacks them, and he gets it away to John Wilkin. Over the top it goes. Great defence from Dallas and young
well.
Kevin Brown.
It had to be. He took a huge gamble. They had a two-man overlap.
Long simply pumps the ball downfield, and it stands still, and Connolly,
Did he nudge
got
it?
a little knock on.
Well,
Dallas fans thought it was.
he has to be one of the coolest players in Super League, Gary Connolly. That ball was bobbing around all over the place, and it was though he was just taking his dog for a walk.
There's Connolly again. Newton comes down this short side. Tickle. Tackled by Gilmour on the last.
Just basic rugby league football, that's all Wigan have to do. Kick and chase. It's been good in the second half. Dissect full-back and the winger.
Here's Ian Hardman. Finds Paul Wellens. And Wellens, well, the gamble might just pay off. Oh, excellent tackle from Martin Aspinwall. Here goes Hardman from dummy half.
Can't afford to relax, Wigan.
Wilkin plays the ball to Cunningham. Here's Long. And Hooper, who thought about the offload as he went down, thought better of it. They're on halfway. Long again. Flicks the pass wide. Willie Talau.
Again, that scrambling defence from Wigan. They've really worked hard as a unit.
Here's Long once more. Inside pass to Wilkin, who goes up the middle. That's the last. And now it's with Long. Sculthorpe and Gilmour. And he finds Albert, and the ball went backwards to Wellens. And this is Roby, flicked inside. Long takes control. There's the kick over the top. It's bouncing everywhere. And St Helens will have a second set of 6, and he's playing merry hell with Danny Orr as Andy Farrell. Not happy, the Wigan captain.
Well, great play by St Helens, kept that ball alive. They really risked it under a lot of pressure. Very fortunate indeed. Bounced off Darren Albert. No doubt about it, it got in. Look at this for the pressure kick. Now then, why was... Well, Farrell said get out of the way, but you can't really blame. He's done it right.
Good work from the touch judge there.
Well, I don't know why he's given Danny Orr a real mouthful.
It's the playoffs, Steve-O. And the adrenaline is pumping. And here come the Saints.
Two going too high there, and they can't afford to do it.
Mason. Great run from Edmondson to set up this position. Here is Keith Mason. Quick play the ball. Cunningham! Oh, he went without it. Edmondson.
That could be the ball game, Eddie. And he knows it. Shaking the head. Just had a little bit of a look. Had the grasp behind it. Quite a few of the passes have gone behind the man.
Phil Clark. Now then, 12 points. Is it enough for Wigan?
No, it's not. I think if you said to Ian Millward, I'll give you, what, 25 minutes, you can attack Wigan, you've got to come up with 2 tries. He fancies his chances. I think the next interesting phase that the game will go into is when Mickey Hyatt comes back onto the field. I think St Helens have looked at the most dangerous in the first half when he was scooting around the dummy half, and it's the speed with which he allows his teammates to play the game. If he can get back on there and cause some trouble around the ruck area, Saints will get back into it with at least a try.
Was there a knock on each way there? I think there was.
Well, the first one came from Wigan. Well, Andy Farrell, Danny Hall, they say, well, I never touched it, but I think you find that he did. That's a knock on. Yep.
There's the second.
Your head and feed the Saints. And I agree with Phil Clark. Wigan cannot just rest on this lead.
Injury news now about St Helens, Bill.
Eddie, we saw Adi Gardner being led off, looking very groggy indeed after that massive hit on him by Terry Newton, but thankfully he's still bright as a button, jumping up and down on the sidelines, getting very worked up about what Saints sense could be a bit of a comeback here.
Mickey Hyman, Nick Fozzard waiting to come on. Sculthorpe gets the ball in field. This is Hooper. He's wrestled to the ground by Newton. This is Gilmore. Here is Mason. Oh, terrific defence from Wigan, this.
Certainly is. If there's one man out there that can change it for the St. Helens side, it's got to be the second row, Lee Gilmore. He's working overtime as that fella.
Hyam's on. Here he is. Now it's with Long. Another one goes to the deck.
Advantage from here, 2 metres from his try line.
And Wilkin puts the latest one down.
Oh no, swinging it, Paul.
And again, the man has to turn for the football. You know, a lot of teams, Eddie, they work and practice on this very flat attack. And if it's not a spot-on pass, if it's a couple of inches behind you, the chances of you taking it, they diminish.
Connolly gets up, plays the ball. Here come Wigan in the shape of Danny Tickle, is it? Yes, it is. He plays the ball to Danny Orr. Wild will play the ball quickly to Terry Newton. He's missed by Fozzard. Not the second time, he's not.
Fantastic pace this game is. And you know, Eddie, the one thing about this game that's really pleased me is that we just have ignored the referee. He's had such a good game as Russell Smith. Is that, you know, I've often said, if you don't notice a referee, then he's having a brilliant game.
Get him low.
And Russell Smith is. Oh, he's away, is Roby. Not for long, though. Wild stuck to him.
Square up.
Sculthorpe. Wellens.
Little doubt the message will be out from Dennis Betts saying to his players, look, just play basic, make sure there's solid defence like you've done so far, but don't give away a silly penalty.
Sculthorpe's yet to fire.
Positional play. St. Helens know they've got the ability, they've got the players, and this guy has.
Great ball from Hyam to Long. Great tackle again by Danny Orr. Nick Fozzard, the dummy half here. He finds Sculthorpe. Hooper. On the bounce, it finds its way to Roby. There's no way through this Wigan defence. That's the last tackle.
St. Helens player flat out. Can't see who it is. Is it Sculthorpe? No.
That was Sculthorpe to Long. And Long dabs the ball all along the deck.
Well, there's no one there. Not only that, there is just no one was going to run onto that football. The only people that responded to this, they were there in numbers, Wigan.
It's Jason Hooper who's flat out, by the way. It's been a bruising encounter, this, but it's the playoffs. What else would you expect? Still plenty of time for St. Helens to come back, but Wigan will be growing in confidence that they've kept St. Helens out.
Well, they don't have to do anything that's pretty, Eddie. We saw early in the second half, they raced to the 18-6 lead, and then they squandered a few opportunities when they made the break. Just bide their time.
Here they come. Ooh, Dallas.
Knocked on.
Dallas put that down, and that could have been another for Wigan. The longer this goes on, Steve-O, the bigger the St. Helens confidence will become, surely, well, even though the 12 are trim.
Well, it has to be as well, but I get back to that point. I hate to harp on it, but the winger was not behind, he was flat. It was a beautiful offload. Kevin Brown had did everything right, pulled in the opposition, left the gap. Wingers in front.
Here's Wellens. Brian Noble is with us. Brian, can St. Helens get back into this game? They have to soon, don't they?
Absolutely, and you can see the signs are there for Wigan. It's a bit of a mirror of the first half. They're just giving him the possession in the right part of the field for the Saints, and at some stage this tremendous Wigan defence is going to creak and crack, and they'll find a try-scoring play that'll put them back into the game, Saints. Wigan are defending magnificently, but they're making it real hard for themselves.
Wellens will play the ball, and here comes Sculthorpe. Great tackle again. Danny Orr, he's been everywhere in defence tonight. Mickey Hyam waits. Here is Sean Long. Long stabs the ball in, and Wild says thanks.
It was a poor kick. Didn't get any force behind it, and that's the reason why he's working overtime in defence. He knows he's made a mistake. Mason went perhaps a little bit late there.
Danny Sculthorpe tackled by Paul Sculthorpe.
Look at the impacts there.
Newton.
Bruised and battered.
Danny Tickle. An hour of the match gone. 20 minutes remaining. 12 points the difference. Lamb. Last tackle. Great defence from Helens. 13 metres made. Here's the kick from Farrell to get them out of trouble. Oh, watch out for this ball when it bounces. Hardman. 3. What a wonderful chase. What a wonderful chase led by Kevin Brown.
Super stuff, wasn't it? They were very slow, St Helens, to get there for a dummy half. Well, they're throwing everything at them, St Helens, but this Wigan defence. There's that move again. The first marker doesn't pick up the ball. It's left to the second one. I'm not so sure I've seen it work yet. But they still keep doing it.
Wilkin over halfway, but 4 tackles gone. Wigan's defence is standing firm. Fozzard.
A little bit more running from Mickey Hyam, like we did in the first 20 minutes of the first half.
Sculthorpe. Great defence again. Danny on brother Paul. Look at the possession in the second half for Saints, but they haven't been able to make it pay yet.
Not only that, Paul Sculthorpe went for the power play when really they should have been kicking the ball into the in-goal area. Trying to turn around, that's high. He's allowed as well. The head went back. Looked to me as though Mickey Hyam certainly got him.
This proud record of Wigan on this ground is at the moment standing firm, and Luke Robinson's back. He tormented St Helens in the latter stages of that first half. Here he is at dummy half. Gareth Hock. Almost a breakthrough. Last tackle. Robinson again. The kick from Danny Orr downfield. Wellens.
Look at that. It's Terry and White all over the place.
And Hardman had nowhere to go after Wellens fed him. Tallow. Terrific stuff from Wigan here.
Listen to the crowd getting behind them. Wigan, that's what they're chanting. This has been an absolute sensational performance from them.
Well, after the first 20-25 minutes, you're absolutely right. Fozzard for Saints again. 4 tackles gone. Here goes Wellens. He gets the ball away. That's dropped in
backwards.
Knock on, says the referee against Hooper.
Well, I think he may have been a bit harsh there. Hooper throws the ball into the face of Andy Farrell. Well, to me, that went backwards, Eddie. Not so. And then Hooper said, "Here, take that right in the bush." Not that it would have hurt. Andy Farrell has had his nose broken about 4 times already this season.
This is Danny Orr. Good tackle by Wellens. Kevin Brown again.
Will they go for the 1 point? That's what I'd be looking at. Just set up, push towards the sticks. And Big Andy will say, and that looks like what they're doing. Hooper went high.
Dallas felt it, but gets up and plays on. Here is O'Connor.
Get ready for it. Will they go early or will they do another drive?
Farrell is back there, so is Lamb. Here is Farrell. Tried to come back on the inside. He's lost the ball. Wigan have got it back.
They missed a golden opportunity there, Eddie. I would have been going for that final 1 point.
What about the Great Britain coach and the Bradford Bulls coach, Brian Noble? Time for the 1 point from Wigan, Brian, 18-6.
15 minutes to go, maybe a little bit too early. They're trying to take the anxiety out of the 2-score principle and going for the 3-score principle. And that's just helping Wigan out immensely. They may not. I wouldn't go for the 1 point here. I'd stay at this end of the field. Be real handy though. It's a 12-point, makes it a 3-score gap. It's a pretty smart tactic if he does go for it.
Well, it's O'Connor who is bang in front of the post centre field, and it's Robinson. He gets the ball away to Gareth Hock, and back it goes again to Terry O'Connor. They're not making much progress forward, Wigan, but they're staying in centre field.
They don't need to, Eddie, when you're leading 18-6.
Here's Farrell.
When you've got the ball, you're bossing the game. It's as simple as that.
Farrell takes them forward another 6 metres. Connolly, the dummy half, will bring it back in front of the posts. Almost through Connolly. Still Connolly. Back it goes to Robinson. Now then, the bang in front now. They're right under the sticks, but Wigan on the last tackle.
Adrian Lamb.
Back to Adrian Lamb. And it's 1 point for Lamb. No, he's missed it. Lamb just looks at the referee and raises the eyebrow.
It swung away.
Ooh, they got it right.
Oh, so close.
That's one. We're going to get back.
Well, we saw a little passage of play there where Sean Long trying to get the ball away, and the St Helens players just stood around and allowed the Wigan player to drop on the football. That is a big sign of fatigue.
Time is of the essence for St Helens now. Here comes Sculthorpe.
He's coming into his own now, isn't he? He knows he has to. This is how close it was.
It just shaved the upright. Mickey Hyam! Oh, he's clawed down by Farrell, who has been all over the shot. Sculthorpe to Long. A dab through. And picked up by Martin Aspinwall.
Great take as well. It was bobbling all over the place.
They can't get through this cherry and white defence.
Certainly can't, but there's a Wigan player receiving treatment as well. They're going down like 9 pins.
It's Gareth Hock who's just limping his way back into the defensive line, or the attacking line that should be, because Wigan are in possession. There he is. Aspinwall.
That's good play as well. That is good thinking from the winger. Just running from dummy half, just slow it down.
Terry O'Connor.
Don't do anything fancy. They know that every time the minute goes away that Saints' heads will go down.
Good kick that from O'Loughlin, turning Wellens around. Now then, another great chase in the cherry and white hoops as Wellens almost.
Well, they had the numbers there, did Wigan.
Gardner's back, and bravely after that big hit.
Pick your 10 up, Wigan. Pick your 10 up, 2.
Well, it's at the point now that Saints have to test their arm. They've got to do something a little bit different.
This is Wilkin.
Maybe the little chip over.
Cunningham. Sculthorpe. Space for him. Finds Gilmore. Great tackle low down by Stephen Wild. Sculthorpe. Sean Long. Short ball. Cunningham goes forward. Went forward. Knock on.
Yeah. And that mistake probably will be the end of the ball game as far as I'm concerned. Sean Long. Not the best pass, I've got to be fair. Kieran Cunningham was not expecting that. And again, 2 drastic errors.
He's looking a little anxious. Dennis Betts looking a little more comfortable because we're inside the last 12 minutes of the match. And Wigan have a crucial 12-point advantage. Saints haven't crossed their line for a try yet. 3 penalty goals from Long, all they have to show. Wigan 18-6 ahead, in possession with Gary Connolly. Gingerly to his feet.
This has been a wonderful performance, you know, by Wigan. They looked out on their feet about 5 or 6 weeks ago, Eddie. They were struggling with injuries, but they are a determined mob here.
Well, they are on this ground. Robinson is cut down by Sean Long. Here goes Terry O'Connor again.
Bump, bump, bump. That's all they need to do. Will it be a high one? Will it be a high kick? I think it might be.
Lamb, he's gone for a drop goal attempt. He might get this time. Wide again. You must be absolutely delighted with this, Steve-O.
I certainly am. First one side miss, then the other. The thing is, they know that they've got Saints deep down in their own quarter.
Steve-O calls for one-pointers every week of the Super League.
Not every week.
Every week of the Super League.
Not every week.
And St Helens have been on the receiving end of 2 attempts from Wigan tonight. And he's not called for them. Hyam, Sculthorpe.
I don't have to, Eddie. They've got more brains than me out there.
Nicky Hyam again. Here's Kieran Cunningham. Over the top to joint. Great tackle. And has Dallas nicked it? No.
Oh, he's injured, yes. as injured as Dallas, but I must say that's about the third time that Dallas has come through. Oh, that's a beautiful kick, is it? No. The experience of Connolly there.
And now the experience of Lamb. Tackled by Mickey Hyam. 10 minutes to go.
See Andy Farrell there, he just walked past it to play the ball area. He's out on his feet. But there's one thing that will just keep the adrenaline pumping through the bodies of the Wigan outfit, is the scoreboard.
And the prospect of a home tie next weekend with the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. Phil Clark.
I think the pride in their own defensive line too keeps them motivated for the remainder of this game. As the game's gone on, we saw Dennis Burton perhaps become even more relaxed as we've seen him on the screen. And that's probably because, well, I can't quite see a way that St Helens are going to score past them at the moment. They can't go down the middle now that we're going to have tightened up around the ruck area, and they don't seem to have either had the creativity or the pace to go around this Wigan side. And just to give one player mention, Stephen Wiles moved from being a back row forward to a right centre for Wigan this year. And as anyone will tell you who plays the game, defending in the centre position isn't very easy. He's made a pretty good job of it tonight.
He's made an excellent job of it, and Gary Connolly has just lost the ball in the tackle here. So it will be head and feed at the scrum that will result to St Helens.
Just lost control of it, really. Shouldn't have been looking for the offload. They don't need to.
And earlier than that, Sean Long was asking Russell Smith about a possible knock-on earlier in the piece, but the referee wiped the tackle count down. He said Long had stripped the ball off the Wigan man.
Well, the referee got it right. No doubt about that.
Sculthorpe and Albert. Not seen much from Albert yet. Every time he has got it, there have been two ready to spring the trap. Roby and Wellens.
I've got to say that Wigan's sliding defence has given the outside backs of St Helens no room to move whatsoever.
Gardner.
Now then, will Mickey Hyam turn this game? Nothing can lift a side better than when you scored a try.
They need one, St Helens. Sculthorpe knows it.
Should have been someone there on the second phase. Sculthorpe knows it too.
Cunningham, great ball. Edmondson, off it goes to Hyam. Here is Gilmore, over the top to Wellens. Wellens to Albert. They've missed Albert first time, he dumps it down, it's off the foot, and Wigan have it back.
Knock on from Wigan. Stephen Weil, I think, has just bobbled the ball. Yeah, he's got it right. Again, look at this sliding defence. Went a little bit too high, did O'Loughlin. And there is a knock-on from Stephen Weil. Interesting that Phil Clark talking about this fella. There were rumours midway through the season that he was wanting to get away from this club. I think he's had a wonderful season for him.
He has. Stephen Wild. He has just signed a new 2-year deal.
Saints have to score now, Eddie, to have any chance.
Yes, this is an important set of 6, and Long gets the ball away to Roby, clattered to the ground. Long. This is out Sculthorpe, finds Cunningham. That pass stuck. And Jason Hooper tackled by Danny Orr, who's in the ruck. It's Cunningham, it's Hyam, it's Sculthorpe. This Wigan defence, can they penetrate it? Wellens, over the top, they're in with Davy Gardner. Gardner with the try for St Helens. Perhaps it's not over yet. If anybody can, of course, we know St Helens can.
All came about from the knock-on from Stephen Wild, and they chanced their arm, they kept moving it. No one took on Sculthorpe. Wellens did ever so well, didn't he? Gardner finished it off, got as closer to the post as he could. It's all they've got left. They've got to keep it alive, take the risk, take the gamble. And when Wellens got it over, for once, when Brett Dallas has come away from the whitewash, he's come up with some beautiful tackles, ball and all, but not on that occasion. Gardner in. Ball game still alive.
Very much so, but you get the feeling that Sean Long simply has to kick this goal, because we're inside the closing minutes of the match, and I think Ian Millwood knows it too. Certainly the St Helens fans do, and they're praying that this one goes over. But about 6,000 of them behind the posts. If they all took a deep breath at once, they'd suck the ball over the top of the bar. And they are saying their prayers. Long with a vital kick. He's kicked it. Buckle down the hatches. We are in for a terrific finish. The Wigan fans know that this team from St Helens can punish them at any stage of the match, and it's last throw of the dice now. Dennis Betts knows it too.
Tension etched on both coaches' faces. And Gardner did ever so well there, you know. It may have been only an extra 4 or 5 metres inside, but it made it just that little bit easier for Long to get that conversion.
The referee has stopped the clock. There are 2 seconds shy of 5 minutes remaining.
Plenty of time.
St Helens can score 3 tries in 5 minutes.
Well, we've seen them do it. This has got to be a deep one. And the chase, as though you're chasing for your life.
Well, there's the kick, and here is Willie Tallow. Back comes St Helens. Good, hard yard from Tallow.
Well, we said he would lift them, and you'll see that from Saints.
Chris Joint. Brian Noble, you know, anybody can, St Helens can. You know that as well as anyone.
They've done it 1,000 times again. Well, not 1,000 times. They've done it plenty against us, and they'll believe they can do it. That's what they'll do. They'll try and keep the ball alive. They won't go for trick kicks or things like that. They'll try and keep the ball moving and hope that somebody doesn't work in the Wigan line and that they can find a break and find a pass and punish you and keep the momentum to the end of the game. It's a massive defensive set, this, from Wigan.
Long with the kick downfield. I think he was looking for a 40-20. It's a great kick, but Aspinwall has to run it back, and the chase is good. Hooper and Sculthorpe leading the way. 4 minutes remaining.
Good thinking as well there from Sean Long, realising that a 40-20 would have given them possession at a time when Wigan will be a little bit shaky. Oh, you don't need to do that.
Adrian Lamb, it might come up for them.
Oh, he's dropped it again.
Well, I wonder if that actually came off his knees.
It doesn't matter.
And then he flapped it forward.
It's been given, Eddie, and that's the point. But they don't need to do it. If it's the other way around, yes. But they have got the advantage. Well, he's come up with some wonderful defensive stuff, this fella. But he's dropped about 4 or 5, and that could be a crucial mistake.
Here is Sculthorpe for St Helens. They are 1 converted try away. And we are entering the last 3 minutes of an epic contest, and Wellens still going for Wellens. And still.
How does he do it, this kid?
St Helens fans on their feet, roaring them home. Cunningham up the middle and away, and heartens it on. Wellens must have said, oh no, not me again. Here is Sculthorpe. He finds Sean Long, who finds Darren Albert. They're 10 metres away, 2 tackles remaining. Roby, Long, attacking the line, a kick through. And O'Loughlin gobbles it up. Now then, St Helens will hunt the mistake.
This is on the jumper time. Great play though. Wonderful kick from Long. O'Loughlin come to the rescue. No passing.
Aspinwall.
That's what they've got to do. Wigan have to run from dummy half, then make sure it's a good kick.
2 minutes remaining. Farrell. That's the last. Back to Adrian Lamb. On it goes. Oh, and they're caught in possession with Danny Tickle.
They didn't want that. Why on earth they didn't sort it out? Dennis Betts will be furious.
Mickey Hyam.
He's gone for a quick one.
Back it goes to Long. A bit of space for Long to exploit, maybe. Bounces, tries 2 off 1. Robinson and Tickle hanging on. 1.5 minutes remaining.
Oh, he nearly dropped it then. He nearly, but just recovered. That could have been the ball game.
This is Wellens.
Sean Long fumbled that ball and just got it. Couple of inches from the ground.
Hyam. Sculthorpe wide. Oh, that's it.
It was a poor pass, Eddie. And just a bit play on.
It is play on. Dallas! Dallas and Gardner after him. Dallas and Gardner after him. And he's just hauled down. Inside the last minute, Connolly to Lamb. Here is Stephen Wild. Oh!
What on earth? All they had to do was just stay onto the ground. Now they've got a chance. Have they got the time? St. Helens are running to form the pack. Wigan, they're not interested. They've all got an injury. They've all got a limp.
Well,
he knows that they've still got time.
As soon as Saints form the scrum, referee will blow time off, which he does now.
Why on earth did he want to pass that ball? All they have to do is talk about nerves and tension. You know, common sense just goes out the window, doesn't it?
Well, remember the Bradford playoff at Knowsley Road. It's got
to be a kick and chase, Eddie. Connolly's going back as quickly as possible.
Here is Darren Albert. Oh, he passed it straight to Sean O'Loughlin.
It's all over now. Say goodbye, Saints.
The siren has sounded. The siren has sounded. The referee can't hear it for the din. Now he can. Wigan move on to the next phase. St. Helens go out. An incredible match. Worthy of Old Trafford itself. Andrew Farrell. What an effort from him. Sean Long came back last week. Now he bows out and waits for the call, maybe from Brian Noble for the Tri-Nations. Let's get down to Dave Hadfield. We have had to leave it to the last minute, Dave. Who's your man of the match?
Maybe just as well we did leave it. We were very impressed with Mickey Hyam early on when Saints looked like taking control. Then what an impact from Luke Robinson for a young player on his way out of here. But over 80 minutes, we've seen one player who stood out in defence and also he's done some great things with the ball. He's been outstanding for Wigan all season and he certainly has been tonight. Sean O'Loughlin.
Sean O'Loughlin gets the man of the match. He gets the watch. And Wigan get the spoils. Yet another victory against St Helens, whose season is now over. But for Dennis Betts and Wigan, the season has at least another week to go. There's the coach with Bill.
And Dennis, they put you through the blender again, right up to the final minute.
Yeah, we don't like to make it easy, do we? We made it hard work. We talked about half-time, our completion rate was very poor. Our field position was very poor. And when we did create those and get those opportunities, we scored points. But defensively to hold St Helens to one try throughout that game is a sensational effort from us.
It's easy to sit on the sidelines and see when a player has the line at his mercy. Well, it can't be easy for a coach, but for the players out there in this sort of atmosphere, it's beyond belief, really.
Well, I'd like to think we've got the yips out of us now this week. With Bet Dallas never puts down that much ball. We never surrendered that much field position. It's been a great night for the fans. There's a lot of people here who would have enjoyed that game. It was very tense.
And you must have thought, or did you think when Saints started coming back, you thought, oh no, because we've seen them do it so many times before?
I had a lot of faith in our lads. I knew that we had enough about us to defend, and defend with sort of a great deal of vigour. And I think tonight showed that we've got a lot of great attacking plays, but we've got a lot of character on this side. Just wanted to dig in.
Just finally, Dennis, Wakefield next up. They're going to make it hard for you, aren't they?
They played sensational last night. At one point in that game, I was tipping Wakefield. I was thinking, I hope we get all because they're falling like flies there. Well, Wakefield have been a great side all year. It'll be a very good game here next week.
Thanks, Dennis.
Welcome.
It'll be a belter next week. And for St Helens, they go home and they will regroup and they will come back. And they will say they will come back stronger in 2005. The season is over for the Saints. So there are now 4 left standing. Leeds and Bradford haven't slugged it out yet. There's Wakefield and Wigan to battle it out here next week. Bill's got the man of the match with him now, Sean O'Loughlin.
Sean, how are your nerves?
Oh, just hang on there at the minute. 6 points was just enough in the end, but it was a close one.
But when it's Saints, are you out there thinking they could do this?
Yeah, well, we knew they could do it from 12, so when it got to 6, it was even worse.
And when those drop goals were sailing wide as well.
Yeah, we went a bit off the pattern there, and when we started banging drop goals over, I think they got a bit of field position from it, so it worked out in the end anyway.
Well, it's Wakefield next up. From what we've seen of them this season, from what they did to Hull last night, they're going to be a tough prospect, aren't they?
Yeah, it's good that we've got an home tie, but then again, they went to Hull yesterday and they turned them over, and they show what a good team they were and what a quality side they are, and deserve to be in the top 6.
It's never been done from 4th before or beyond, Sean. Can Wigan go all the way and win this?
We got to the final last year, I think was from 3rd or 4th, so hopefully we can do one better this year.
Well done on a man-of-match performance.
Cheers, thanks Tiso.
Well done, Sean O'Loughlin. Well done, Wigan. And I'm sure that St Helens will point to the 2 video referee decisions, one in each half. Hardman and Long. Not too much controversy about them, but I wonder what Ian Millwood's view of the whole thing will be. We hopefully will find out before we go off the air tonight. But the spirit in the Wigan camp lives on. That's on Sky Sports 1 from 7:30. And so next Saturday, all roads lead to Headingley. Leeds and Bradford will be kicking off just after 6 on Sky Sports 1. The winners of that, of course, straight through to Old Trafford. That's next weekend. This weekend, Wakefield and Wigan. The 2 W's have moved on, and the W's will meet next Friday. Win it by 18 points to 12. To be fair, they deserved it. 3 tries to 1, and over 20,000 here to witness it. Fantastic, fantastic match. And Bill Arthur caught up with the St Helens coach Ian Millwood during the break. Let's see what he's got to say.
Ian, Saints fans, yourself probably will be looking at that very crucial decision where Willie Tallow was given accidentally offside. Maybe a turning point in the game.
Well, a huge turning point in the game. I think if you look at the first 30 minutes, we dominated it thoroughly. They've come up with 2 tries, both on the back end of penalties, and I mean, it's disappointing. I mean, I thought our effort was fine. I thought there was a few big turning points in the game. That was a big turning point. And Adi Gardner had his head taken off was also a huge turning point. There was a couple. We got across the try line a few times, didn't we? But I mean, we dropped the ball or we were yards short. But I mean, we can lament, carrying on about it now. But we're out for the season, and that's disappointing.
But you say you dropped the ball. There were just 1 or 2 moments where it just didn't click. Would that maybe be the tale of the season, apart from the Challenge Cup?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, it's we've been able to bring 5 kids in under 18 this year. We've had. I can't ask for any more today. I mean, a couple of things go a little bit different here. We win, and I thought we're very comfortable with the 30-minute mark. If you look at the 2 tries before half-time, the 1 straight after, is the 18 points they secured. I thought for that period, it was only probably time they dominated the game. The rest, we did all the running.
And was it asking a lot? I mean, players coming back tonight, Mickey Hyam out for so long, Sean Long out for so long. Just, was it the team maybe needing another game?
Yeah, can you find us one? But we'll have a game next week if you want to give us that. But every team this year has either got players coming back or people busted. That's not the tale of why people win or lose games. It's what you do for the 80 minutes. And unfortunately, a few times we had opportunities. I mean, we've come a little bit short. But if you look at the clean breaks in the first half, I think they probably only had the 1 for the try. So I'm disappointed. And that's the way we should be.
Thanks, Ian.
Oh, thanks.
Disappointed, why wouldn't he be? St Helens out at the first hurdle of this year's race for Old Trafford, and it really is a Grand National now. There are 4 teams remaining, and they will all be in action next weekend. Wigan will survive, of course. They march on to face Wakefield Trinity Wildcats here. Here's their captain, Andy Farrell.
Andy, you've been involved in some titanic struggles with Saints over the years. How did that one rate?
Exactly the same as all the rest, exactly the same for the players and the spectators. Everybody was on the edge of the seat up until the last minute again.
And were you on edge towards the end there?
Yeah, definitely, because we've seen St Helens so many times over the years come back and snatch it at the bell, and it's fantastic just to keep playing well here at the JJB and keep it going.
One of those drop goals had sailed over, it would have made life a bit easier, wouldn't it?
Well, we tried about 5 or 6 times, but it was a bit pathetic, to be honest. And the good thing about today is that we've showed a lot of guts and determination, and we've hung on in there and played some really gutsy stuff. But at the end of the day, I think we've bombed about 3 tries, and it's a good thing for us for next week. We've got a few things to fix up this week, because Wakefield are playing very well at the minute.
Well, that's right. I mean, Dennis said earlier on that the one aspect of the play that was really tight tonight was defensively, and that was needed.
Yeah, as I say, a lot of guts, and you know, we showed that we wanted it right until the last minute, because as I say, St Helens are very dangerous. But you know, as I said, the good thing about it is we dropped a lot of ball and didn't take our chances, and a bit scrappy at times. And there's a lot to work on this week, which means, you know, you play fantastically well, the best you've ever played. It's hard to do that again the next week, and we can improve next week, and look forward to that.
So look out Wakefield. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
Good captain's knock, wasn't it, from Andrew Farrell? By the way, he talked about Wakefield, and we will be seeing highlights of the victory last night at Hull before we go off the air tonight. But for the time being, let us just reflect on what we've seen here at the JJB Stadium tonight. A fantastic advert for the game. It's been a wonderful, wonderful weekend, to be fair. We say all the time that the 28 weekly rounds are good, but Brian Noble, when you fellas get to the playoffs, you take it to another level. You're on another planet.
Who'd be a coach and who'd be a player, eh? I'm drained watching the game. It was exciting. It was exciting rugby league, not for the fluent movement, passive movement, but the tension and the anxiety and the nerves of the players were there for all to see, and energising last gasp tackles. How many times was Paul Wellens grabbed by the shirt tail in that last 10 minutes when he looked like it was a clean break? And how many times did you think, well, yes, Saints have got through, and the pass is there for them to just knock the ball, as Ian said there. And what about Wigan's defence, Ruth? They were awesome. You know, their desire was unbelievable. Their guts was unbelievable. They will look at things there and think, yeah, we can play a little bit better than that with the ball, certainly, because I only think they got in Saints' half twice in that second half. One was for the try, and one was for, well, 2 or 3 times, a couple of drop goal attempts.
Farrell this year has been immense, hasn't he? It is a terrific effort from Andy Farrell, and a new position for him at prop, although you will all say, well, he's doing exactly the same as he's done for years.
Well, he's done a little bit more than that. He's, in a lot of respects, he's carrying the team emotionally. You can see that every time they looked, and there wasn't a cherry and white shirt, he stood up, carried the ball. If he wanted a metre, he'd get you that metre. If you wanted 10 metres, he'd get you 2 or 3 metres. But he's there. He's constantly there. He's constantly talking. He's leading the people by example, which is the best way to do it. And he's had a good cast around him tonight. I thought Sean O'Loughlin was great. And how influential is Terry Newton? You know, he only played 2 cameo parts. You could see that he probably wasn't 100% fit, but he's a very big talisman for Wigan, and Saints just couldn't find the answers. You could see the disappointment on them, obviously.
Yes, they're very disappointed, St Helens, but they can be comforted, Phil, by the fact that they've taken part in a fantastic match and a great advert again.
Eddie, that's no comfort when you sat in the change room.
I understand that. I understand that.
You're sore and you're very depressed as well, and probably they will be. You put so much effort into probably. It's almost a 52-week effort, really, that they put into the training, preparation and the games to get to this stage, and they wanted to have played just that bit better. But I think the crucial factor for Wigan tonight, and they did it as well last week, and they've done it several times this season, is an ability to score either side of half-time, and really that lifts your side going into the break at half-time, and obviously you start the second half feeling the better, you get the points on the scoreboard, and all of your players lift as a result of it. I think that ability to lift at those times of the game were crucial for them.
Not much in the end between the two sides. They were going for the drop goal. It just didn't happen, but wow, can Wigan now keep going? Can they keep this run going?
I think they've got every chance. I think winning becomes a habit. They've got tremendous momentum behind them. They've got fantastic support, and next week's game against Wakefield here should be another thriller. They met in the Challenge Cup here earlier in the season, and that was a very, very good game. In the end, Wigan just lifted the intensity, and Wakefield at that time of the season couldn't quite live with Wigan. They've improved quite a bit since then, and I just can't wait to see next Friday's match.
Yeah, Wakefield will relish the challenge, Steve-O.
Yeah, they certainly will. They'll be pretty confident as well, and especially with their display against Hull in the second half. But, you know, there are moments in a rugby league game where it can just change. We made that comment when Radlinski came off with that wonderful tackle on Mickey Hyam. And also a controversial no try. Remember early in the game, Hardman. This is a kick. And, you know, you've got to admire the way that the video referee did not panic. I think we had about 14, 15 shots before he came up with the accidental offside. And I think that Hyam, it did ricochet, and Willie Tallow just hit the back of it. But this was wonderful play early in the second half. Look at O'Loughlin, runs on the arc. Sculthorpe can't get to him. Classy player. And look how he just bides his time, sucks in the full-back Wellens. And I think everybody thought at that time that it was definitely going to be Wigan's night. And it should have been. With this break, watch Brown, a beautiful pass. He's a classy centre, is this youngster. And then when they passed it through the Dallas, well, he had a bit of a nightmare. He did some great defence. And talking of nightmare, I don't think this youngster would have slept if this try had been given. He certainly lost it long, but I've seen them given because it looked as though the forearm went down, and he was a very relieved man, was young Brown. And then, look at this, keeping the ball alive, as we know St Helens are capable of it. They allowed Sculthorpe to run across the face of the defence, and the man got the ball away, and for once, Gardner eluded the winger. Tight game, absolutely tight game. I mean, it's just one of those things that when it comes to playoff, when it comes to sudden death, but as I say, just a couple of inches, it just hit Willie Tallow's back of the boot, and that was the difference.
It was, and had St Helens scored at that stage, maybe it would have been a totally different result. As it is, Wigan march on. They face Wakefield here now. Next, when is it? It's next Friday night. Next Friday night, Wigan against Wakefield here at the JJB Stadium. And why? Because last night Wakefield went to Hull and won. David March, and David March is away!
He should have passed!
He's got there anyway, March. Rayner tried to get to him. This is Swain, and he goes at the middle, Swain, and he gets there, Richard Swain. Richard Whiting showed it one way, went for it the other. Great ball! Oh, McNenemy will score for Hull. What a pass that was! Good defence from Hull. This has been a feature of Hull's season. They've been resolute in defence all year. They have to be again now as the kick across finds Yeam, and he's dropped it. Oh! And there's shot from Rayner. This will be a try. This will be a try for Colin Halpenny.
Yep. Well onside there. Now then, did the whitewash come into it? No.
That's a try. Jeffries almost through, an important tackle that by Scruton. Here comes Gareth Ellis. It's now, or was it? No, it wasn't put to ground. It's a great driving run here from Feather.
Has he got it down? Who's going to give this?
A try is given to Feather. Griffin, though, hangs on and plays the ball to Hanford. And here is Jeffries in a kick to the corner, looking for Tadulala. He's got it, Tadulala!
Has he got it down right?
Yes, I think he has. The referee will give this Semi Tadulala back inside the 10. 3 tackles remaining this set. Swain goes towards the post. He gives the ball in, and it could be a try here. It could be a try here. The referee, though, will hand it on to the video referee. This is the biggest call of the year for Hull. Ewan Dowes believes he scored.
So do I. Dowes has got it down.
Let's see what Ian Ollerton says. Is it a try? Oh, hold on to your hats for the big finish. Ben Jeffries wins the man of the match, then he'll get the watch, and Jason Demetriou! He's going to score it! Demetriou will score for Wakefield and take Shane McNally into the next round of these playoffs.
Oh, I feel really happy with the guys. A tremendous effort, particularly that second half, but you know, we've got another game now, and you know, we've got to get ready for that, so we're not going to celebrate too much tonight. We're going to be happy with that performance, and we'll have a look at it, and we can do better still.
I thought we gave as good as we could. Didn't start the second half as well as we wanted to, and at the end of the day, that's probably cost us the game, but you know, the guys can be proud of their efforts this year. It's no disgrace to bow out of the playoffs. You know, congratulations to Wakefield. I wish them all the best for the, you know, for the upcoming game that they're in, and you know, they probably shaded us tonight and deserve to win.
Well, at the end, it was an emotional farewell for Tina and Sean McRae. They say goodbye to Hull. They say goodbye to British Rugby League. 1 or 2 tears there at the end for Sean and Mrs. Sean, but, well, they will bounce back, I'm sure, in Australia in the new year. Now then, we're looking ahead, of course, to next weekend. Wigan, Wakefield here, Leeds, Bradford at Headingley. Can't wait, Brian, frankly. Really can't.
We're excited. It was a huge challenge for us, you know, an unbeaten team at Headingley, and rightly the best team in the competition. You look at their point spread at the top of the ladder, and they've been the best team all year, so we'll have to be good to get anything out of that place. But we're preparing well, and we're looking forward to it.
And the week off, it will have done you both good. I mean, Leeds are very, very fit, aren't they? How are you looking?
Yeah, we're reasonably healthy. We're as healthy as we're going to be. We've lost a few players for the whole season, but we've known that for a while. What we've managed to do is have an element of stability around our pivotal people right towards the back end, and our form has improved. You know, we're playing as well now as we have done all season. So again, we know the measure of the task ahead of us, but the players will be confident going to Headingley. It's a tough ask, but we're ready for it.
It'll be a great game. A rehearsal for Old Trafford, Phil, maybe, but you can't discount Wakefield and Wigan now, can you?
No, you can't. I think the thing about Wakefield this season, what's made them such a dangerous side, is that they've got several players that can cause problems. Now, one of those, Sid Domick, the leading try scorer, he limped off yesterday, and they'll miss him. But they've shown the strength of a squad this season. It's one of the reasons why they've got so far in the playoffs, that they've got several players that can cause you trouble. Ben Jeffries is very important to them. We saw him heavily involved there, and his kicking game crucial. They may also have Jamie Rooney back as well. Well on Wakefield.
Yes, they're keeping their fingers crossed for Jamie Rooney. They also have maybe the 18th member of the squad, the physio, Steve-O, because he worked miracles, didn't he?
He certainly did, and according to Sean McRae, then he's on his way to Australia, isn't it? But no, it's going to be a tough game. They always are. As we've seen tonight, that it could be just a matter of one mistake, just one drop pass. It's so tight. It can be just won or lost in, say, the opening 30 minutes. But as it proved tonight, you've got to make sure you score points. Ian Millwood made it quite clear, didn't he? He said, look, if you look at the clean breaks, we were well in front. They only had 2 clean breaks, did Wigan, in that first half, and they came up with 2 tries. You have to take your opportunities and post the points on the scoreboard.
You do in the playoffs, there's no doubt about that. They're underway, though, the playoffs in the Super League, aren't they? Hope you're enjoying them. Coming up tonight on Sky Sports, here on Sky Sports 1 next, it's football.